So Taylor, you have some very specific advice for parents on the week and last few days before the actual child takes the exam.
Yes, I do. And this is the critical part, because most children will have prepared for many months, if some even for a couple of years for this. And then sometimes parents do the wrong things just in the last few days, which causes their children to underperform. And so I'd like to give some guidance on how to try and get the best performance from their children. First of all, by the time there's about a week left to the exam, it is no longer about what the children learn. So there's no great benefit in doing lots of practice papers, and definitely it's not advisable to try and learn lots of words, because that cramming will affect the children's ability to reason and to stay calm. So it's not about learning. Children should do some practice papers, but it's more about maintaining their concentration span and keeping their hand in and reassuring them. It's not about volume of work anymore at all. And if at that stage it's still about lots of cramming and volume of work, they have underprepared. So that's the first thing. So it's not volume of work. What they should do, sometimes parents ask whether their children should take the last day or couple of days off school before the exam in order to do 11 plus work. And that's a big no-no, because what will be most settling for the children and psychologically best is if they maintain their normal routine. So they go to school as normal along with everybody else. And because they're not at that stage in the position of needing to do lots of practice. And as I've said, if they are, you've already left it too late. That's not the correct approach. It's not the right approach. So maintain normal routine, go to school as normal. If the children are getting a lot of homework from school, sure, they can postpone some of it until the exam is over in order that it doesn't stress them out. So they shouldn't get stressed out. So anything that's going to cause them stress, you should try and minimize. But taking time off school for this is not recommended at all. Okay, now we come to the day before the exam, and this is really important. The day before the exam, sometimes parents ask me, should I put my child to bed a little earlier? Obviously with good intentions, that they want their child to get a good night's sleep. But I think that is very risky, because when you change a child's bedtime routine, then you can't be certain what the outcome will be. Because if you change the routine, it may be that they won't sleep as well. And if they go to bed early, they may wake up at some very early hours of the morning, maybe 3-4 o'clock, and not be able to go back to sleep, which would be terrible, because then they won't be able to concentrate as normal when they do their exam. So I would say put your child to bed at their normal time so that they're in routine, as I've mentioned. And before they go to bed, again, in order for them to have a normal restful night's sleep, they should have peace of mind that everything is ready. They're not going to be searching for things in the morning. Something might get missed. So the time to think it all through is the evening before the exam, or even before that. The route, who's going to do the run to take the child to the exam venue, who's going to bring them home, what time do you need to be there, where will you park, what bits of paper do you need to take, what stationery do you need to take, i.e. the pencils, the erase, the sharpener, ruler, what is it that you're supposed to take. Make sure the letter from the school giving guidance about all of that, you have it in hand, so you can make sure that you follow the instructions to the letter the night before and have everything ready. Not only that, but also the clothes that the child will wear on the day of the exam. So everything is there, everything is ready, and everything is planned, so that you as parents will have peace of mind that everything is ready, and so will the child, and you'll all sleep better, and that will all bode well for the next day. And then on the next morning, again, what I would say is get up at a normal time, not extra early, no extra lie-in, just the normal routine, and have a reasonable breakfast, a normal breakfast. Don't try to eat more or less than normal, just a normal routine again. And again, go through the checklist before you leave home to make sure you haven't left anything, because it would be terrible if you end up looking for things and then leaving late and then rushing to get there, because that will have a terrible effect on the child's ability to concentrate on the task that they've got to perform. So get there in reasonable time, in good time, with everything, and then little brief pep talk, words of encouragement, take off all the pressure, and so on. Now, some parents misinterpret that and try to motivate their children by giving them the promise of some reward after completing the exam, and this is what I call the Thorpe Park mistake, because there was a pupil of mine many years back who fell victim to this Thorpe Park mistake, which was this: that in order to encourage the boy, the parents had said, "Do your best, son, and after the exam we'll take you to Thorpe Park." And the boy wasn't able to perform to his ability. He was very able, but he underperformed. And I spoke to him and his parents afterwards and came to the conclusion that actually during the exam he was thinking about this trip to Thorpe Park, which of course he was very excited about, which is why it was used as a reward in the first place, but it was counterproductive, and in my opinion it actually caused him to underperform. So it's best that whatever you say is focusing only on that day's task, this 11 plus exam, and not giving the child something else to think about or focus on. And that is the advice that I have.
So there was one other piece of advice you gave about if the child is ill on the day, which we did cover in another video.
This is critical, that when a child is ill, or an adult for that matter, they cannot concentrate as fully as they normally would. And I know for myself that if I have even a sniffle, just the start of a cold, that I can't concentrate as normal. And there are some simple tasks that I have trouble with, which I normally don't have trouble with. So you can imagine that for something as important as the 11 plus exam, you want your child to be at their best physically. So if they're not well, and even if it's something that you consider to be minor, it may actually affect their concentration by a few percent. And in 11 plus, a few percent is a lot. So I wouldn't take a risk. If you have the option of a later sitting, I would certainly explore that. So if a child is not fully well on the day of the exam, my recommendation is take them to the doctor and get a sick note. Even if it's a relatively minor thing, you need proof that your child was ill on that day, because that will be required in order for them to qualify for a later sitting, which normally happens within a couple of weeks of the original sitting. So you can take a risk and take your child for the exam anyway, but then you're leaving yourself open to the possibility that your child might miss out on their preferred choice or on passing by 1 mark, and then you'll have that question mark in your head. What if my child had been fully well? If I had not allowed them to take them, they would have probably got that 1 extra mark. That makes all the difference.
So, in a nutshell, we're talking about keep everything as normal as possible.
Yes.
Don't overstress the child with too much work on the run-up, just a little bit to keep their hand in. On the day, be organised, make sure you get there without any panics, looking for bits of paper. Again, keeping everything calm and organised for the child. Keep their focus on the lesson by not offering them big prizes or big rewards for doing well.
Nothing beyond the exam itself.
Nothing beyond the exam itself. And obviously, if they're not 100% fit, check with the doctor, get a sick note if need be.
Yes, that's it.
Great. And if you'd like to find out more about the courses available, or just have some questions about the 11 plus, then give Sir Taylor or one of his colleagues a call on the number provided through the Contact Us button.